Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of Race Day Preview, special on-site edition here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I'm Dave D'Onofrio, Gavin Ferretra here as usual. Gavin, we're at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but we're going to start by talking about what happened a little ways up the road at Watkins Glen last week. Just a dominating effort by Juan Pablo Montoya. Is he a better driver than his standings would suggest? In other words, you look at him and say, he's a top 10 driver, in my opinion, but he doesn't have a top 10 point showing.
Sure.
Is he better than 19th or wherever he is in the standings right now?
Based on how he's approached races this year, I'd say no. But if you look at the guy just as a whole, I think he is. I think he absolutely is capable of being a consistent guy that's going to make the chase. Might not win the championship every year, not going to be a Jimmy Johnson, but he's going to be a guy that can get himself in there. And I think he's got to find that middle ground, find what worked last year, and add in the aggressive driving that he's known for, and somehow combine those and get himself into a more consistent driver. Right now, it's just it's kind of like that Kyle Busch mentality where it's if he didn't win, he's lost, and he's gone away from the fact that he liked or was good at getting those top fives and settled for those top fives and top tens last year, which got him those points. And right now, he's not doing that.
That's what's kind of strange about it, is that last year he came in, I remember in the June race here, he came in speaking about how he didn't care about wins.
Right.
He didn't need that. He needed good points races.
Sure.
This year, he's been at the front of the field, I don't even know how many times.
Right.
Wound up having that one mistake. And I think what defines a good driver, yes, is he one of the best? If you were to line up everyone with the same exact car and say, go run 300 laps, is he one of the top 10 finishers? I say absolutely. Mm-hmm. But what he needs to do is figure out how to take that day where something goes wrong at lap 262 out of 300 and make sure it doesn't turn into 30th. He needs to turn it into 8th, 9th. Yeah, he might have had the best car. Yeah, he might have been in line to win. But he needs to somehow salvage days instead of screwing them up, and that's what he's done.
And be even more than maybe 8th or 9th, be happy with 14th or 15th. And just be okay with that for the day. You might have had a better car than that. Nobody's arguing that. And it could have been something that happened on pit road. But you're not always going to get top 10. So you've got to make sure that you're okay with maybe a 15th or 16th just on that day, and then improve on that the next week. Right now, it's I'm either in the top 10 or I'm going to be at the back of the field.
Perfect example came here at New Hampshire. He had a great car, led a lot of laps, wound up, falling out of pit sequence, getting to the back of the field. Sure. Tried to do a little too much, gets hit by Reed Sorensen, just takes his whole day out of whack right there. Guy who has somehow found a way to seize the moment, though, is his teammate, Jamie McMurray.
Yep.
Arguably won the two biggest races of the season to this point. Mm-hmm. You add in Montoya's week-to-week strength, even if he's not been able to finish those races, and suddenly, do you have to look at Earnhardt Ganassi Racing in 2011 as a legitimate title contender?
I don't see why not. I mean, Jamie McMurray has been, you could put him down as a dark horse every week. The guy has just been awesome. He was great again last week, and another solid run on a road course. He won, like you said, those two big races. So he's a guy he's a big pressure player. I mean, he's not winning the random weeks where we're good, just all of a sudden a guy stole a win because of gas mileage or something like that. He's proven that he can win and be good at more than just one specific kind of track. I mean, it looked like maybe super speedways were going to be just his kind of dominant track, but he's proven that he can do it elsewhere as well. So I don't see why not. I think Montoya, if he and Montoya can start sharing a little bit more information and maybe play off each other a little bit more, they could be very dangerous next year.
Right, you got to think that in their second year as teammates, they'll be a little better at helping each other. You mentioned pressure guys. Mm-hmm. Two guys that are going to face a lot of pressure here over the next 4 weeks. Mark Martin, Clint Bowyer. Mm-hmm. Martin, obviously a guy with a ton of experience. Yep. Bowyer, a guy who has been in this very position twice before. Twice he got into the chase. Yep. Who do you like with 4 races to go to get that 12th and final chase spot?
For me, it comes down to equipment. It comes down to equipment for me, and case in point was last week. Bowyer doing all right, had a pretty good run going. All of a sudden, something falls off his car. He had to go in, and I got to tell you, the pit group did an awesome job in there. Almost got him back out. He went for two times. He was the lucky dog, being able to get back around. So they did a great job of getting him back out there and nearly on the lead lap again, which is, that says a lot. But that being said, I think you look at, RCR has been pretty good this year. They've made a little bit of a comeback, but Martin's driving Hendrick stuff, and right now they're still the king until somebody knocks them off. So I think for me, it just comes down to that.
Look at the standings, though. Harvick first, Burton now third. Those are 2 RCR cars. I think Boyer's got the equipment, and I think Martin's team, they were so good last year. There's something missing this year, and I'm not sure that's going to show up in the next 4 races.
Sure.
Someone who was good earlier this year is who I'm going to watch, and he's definitely stumbled. He's got to find himself. Denny Hamlin. I'm starting to wonder if those 5 wins came in such a short period of time, if they just found something then. They weren't great at the beginning of the season. They haven't been great since then. I'm watching him this week to find out who the real Denny Hamlin is.
Sure, and for me, I'm going to be watching a specific team, and it's going to be Roush Fenway, and to see what they can do this week at Michigan. This has historically been a very good track for them. Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, all 3 of them. I think this is an opportunity for them to solidify spots in the chase. Make sure that they're not, those fringe bubble guys, and maybe a 1, 2, 3 finish this week will do just that. They're certainly capable, and I'll be watching that team.
I'm going to go with Edwards as a sleeper. Not because on this track, at this place, you always got to think a Roush driver, a Ford driver, and Carl Edwards are going to do well. But I think of him as a sleeper because this week, I think he's got to go in with the mentality that, yes, he's trying to secure a chase spot, but it's not good enough to finish top 10. This is a place where Carl Edwards needs to be a factor. He needs to be on the podium. I think he needs a win, but at the very least, he needs a top 3 here. So I think, based on the way he's gone this season, you can't look at him as expected to lead laps. So I think that for that reason, he's a little bit of a sleeper. Yeah,
and the guy that I'm going to take this week is Jeff Gordon. And just based on this, historically, has been an okay track for him, but not of late. 15.83 average finish in over the last 3 years, which for him isn't very good. But 18 top 5s, 23 top 10s career at Michigan. So I think this is a place that, it's funny, you talk about Jeff Gordon being a sleeper, but I think this week he is, and a guy that could do some damage there.
Sure. Fantasy now, like I said, you got to go with Carl Edwards here. He's got a very good record at this place. I like the Fords as well, so I'm going to go with Casey Kane on my bay list. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a top 10 here earlier this season. He's won here over the last couple of years. Michigan's a pretty decent place for that 88 team. And then I'm going with Travis Kvapil. Why? He's in a Ford. I'm running out of guys. I need someone on the C-list.
I mean, that's Scott Speed, I'll tell you, that guy. My C-list guy's Paul Menard this week. Don't really need to go into it. He's a C-list guy. He's basically all I got left with AJ Allmendinger. He's completely gone off of mine. I used him too much. Matt Kenseth, for the reasons I explained before, I do have Edwards on my A-list. And my last B-list guy is Jeff Burton. 5 straight top 10s for that guy. Very quietly, too. Not many people talk about him. So I think that he can continue it this week at Michigan. Yeah, he's a guy that I think could contend for the win here, too. I'm personally going to go, surprise, surprise, based on my earlier comments, Carl Edwards. He needs it. He needs it. He's been good here. Last 3 years, no one's had a better average finish. No one's had a higher driver rating here among active drivers. He's the man to beat. Yeah, and I can't argue with that. I got him as well. I tried to find somebody else just to be different, but I can't. I'm not going to do that. I think he's a guy that's definitely going to win this week. He's looked good the last few weeks, and the Roush Fenway experience there pays off again. For the conformist copycat Gavin Ferretra, I'm Dave D'Onofrio. We'll see you next week. Take care.